Welcome everyone to our Christmas or holiday episode of Reiki Women Podcasts. And it's not going to be a very long one today because we just wanted to wish you all a wonderful time. So we're just going to do a few little bits and bobs, and I don't actually know. So, oh God, what am I saying? Is that a blooper?
Do you have like a earring in on one side and not the other?
It's not an earring. It's actually a Christmas bauble attached to my glasses. You see, this was my Christmas decoration for the episode because I am the Christmas tree. Yeah.
You are mother.
And yes, it's a blooper and you should leave it in.
All
And
right.
also, we should go back through episodes and make a whole blooper reel of all of our false starts where we screwed up.
Every false start that we've done.
So listeners, if you want to laugh at all our false starts, drop a comment, let us know. We might put in the effort to do that for you.
That would be funny. Okay. So, yes, well, what I'd like to do is to invite my wonderful, well, actually, no, before that, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you so much, Carrie, for sharing this with me. And I'm pretty sure it was Carrie's motivation that started all of this. And wasn't it? I think, in discussion and then Michaela, thank you so much too for just bringing your amazing self to this. And, it's been such a joy. I never thought I would enjoy doing this, and I've loved doing this. And I love the freedom that you two offer in just allowing me to say whatever I want to say and allowing yourselves to say whatever you want to say. And I love the honesty and the integrity that sits behind this podcast. So thank you both very, very, very much. And now I'd like to hand you over to Carrie, because she's going to tell you what her favorite podcast of Reiki Women Podcast is of the year. So Carrie, tell me.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, that was a really hard question for me to answer because I like them all. And I also want to reiterate, the sense of gratitude for both of you. When I look back at my 2022, this podcast is one of my top highlights, if not the top highlight, because this container where we just met every week and got to share our heart and soul and got to share our joy and passion for Reiki has been so meaningful for me. And whatever topic that we explore, it just sticks with me through the week. And it's always just been really poignant and insightful and inspiring. Bronwen, I'm always really inspired by your funky hip wit but your deep soulful wisdom that you share. And Michaela, I'm always just like so inspired with your use of words and just the poetry that you put in the thoughts that you have around healing and Reiki and your integrity and dedication to this practice. So it's just been such a joy to sit in this circle with you all. And every week when we gather, there's just some magic that's there. And I think that that's magic that happens when women come together and we have meaningful discussions. And I was talking to my stepdaughter about this recently, about there's this term for it, and I'm not sure what it is, but it's in Hollywood, and it's a score that they can give different films that have women in it.
Oh, I know what that is. Yeah.
It's the Bechdel test.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's how much women are actually talking about like actual meaningful things besides like sex and relationships. And I would say that we pass that test because we don't really talk about sex and relationships on this podcast.
Oh, we could.
Coming in January, February 2023, Reiki Women talk about sex.
But it's also more than that. It's also it's not just that. It's women in movies that are simply there as the add-on wife, girlfriend, daughter, mother. They're not there as themselves, So I think that that's also what that test is about.
Totally. So I guess that points me to one of my favorite episodes, I think, was the non-duality episode. We chatted about non-duality, and I think that we just really went into a very deep intellectual topic, and got to approach it from our lens as women. And so that was super inspiring. I also really liked the Reiki precept one, which was super fun. And just anytime that we've ever just dropped into a conversation, and I don't know about you, but I get so engaged in these conversations. But I just feel like my whole self is here, and that's always just really exciting to feel that edge of my passion and enthusiasm for these topics and for Reiki.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so beautifully said. And Michaela, what's your favorite one?
Well, we came prepared to talk about our favorite episode and some other things we'll share, but we also apparently felt, just without collaborating, the need to just gush about each other, because I also want to just name the value of this time in my year and the value of having carved out dedicated time every week, mostly consistent throughout the year, where we get to, not only pass the Bechdel test, but like blow it out of the water, where we have 3 named female characters in a movie, or 3 hosts of a podcast who have conversations with each other that have nothing to do with some dude. And, we get to do that at such a level of depth about things that we love and care about and have a ton of experience in, and that we get to laugh about it and be like silly and just connect on all of those levels. So just really reflecting back that this year has been a gift, and it sounds like that is true for all of us. And just to, as I share one of my favorite episodes, I'm not going to say it's the 100% favorite because it's hard to pick one, but certainly one that jumped out at me, just to give you a little insider view on our process here, dear listener. You may think that we spend, hours and hours like crafting these topics and designing, the flow to these conversations. We do not. We will typically, sometime an hour or 2 before our recording time, one of us will drop a message. Usually it's Bronwen. Sometimes it's Carrie. It's rarely me. We'll drop a message to the other 2 and say, so what are we talking about this week? And there'll be some topic that's just caught one of our attention for some reason. It's just, something that we've experienced, something we noticed, that we read, a question somebody had for us, or just something that, is just present for us for whatever reason. And then we just kind of roll it and ad lib it from there. And so one of the impacts of that I love, especially as we kind of settled into that like unorganized, organized structure, is that means that oftentimes the topic is something that I never would have thought about, never would have occurred to me to talk about. And often when we press record, I don't think I have a whole lot to say about it necessarily because I haven't thought about it. But then we open up this space of camaraderie and connection and, shared experience and different experience. And there's always depth there. And so one of those episodes for me was when we talked about the placebo effect. I think, Bronwen, you had read an article about the placebo effect or seen a show or something. And we were just curious, what might it look like to look at the system of Reiki in the light of the placebo effect? And what was interesting about that one, and this has happened in a few other episodes, is that the 3 of us each came with a totally different like way of interpreting what the question was about. What does the placebo effect have to do with Reiki? And so that was really fun because, as we started to talk, I heard some of you just, describing what that question meant to you. And I'm like, that's totally different than how I interpreted this question and where my mind went. So that ended up being just a really engaging and fun episode from all of those perspectives. And I think we came up with some pretty interesting insights about the connection between Reiki and placebo. So
absolutely,
folks, check it out.
Well, you stole mine, right, Michaela? Yeah.
Like this.
No, I loved that one because for all those reasons you just said. And I felt really connected to the conversation, and I thought there was really some creative juices coming out of that one for sure, and lots of great thoughts that everyone shared together, and that they really built upon each other, and yeah, it was just a really great conversation. So I'm going to choose another one. I had just a quick look then while you were talking, and one that I did really enjoy doing was the poetry one, because I love poetry, and I love the fact that we can use poetry within the system of Reiki, and we could do it in all sorts of ways, and really bringing that to light and hopefully inspiring people to also look at the poetry that's used within the system of Reiki, and how that can be so inspiring to us in our everyday lives, and also just incorporating poetry, not necessarily that poetry, your own poetry, or poetry that you have read elsewhere, into the system of Reiki, into your daily practice, and really connecting in that way, I thought is a lovely thing, and I hope people enjoy that too. Yeah. So there was another thing that we were going to talk about.
Yes, indeed.
Which was something else.
Which was the sharing of good wishes and blessings to all of you, dear listeners, for this holiday time.
Go
Carrie,
for it,
do you start us off with that? Yeah.
I start me. Oh, me. Okay.
Yeah, we'll just keep this same pattern.
So my hope for the listeners of this podcast is, first of all, that this holiday season just fills you to the brim with joy. And it's not a joy attached to things, objects, circumstances in our life, but just a real soulful joy of being alive, and how much of a blessing that is. And I hope that sense of gratitude also is there with you. Gratitude for all the beautiful things in your life, the blessings in your life. And, and in terms of the podcast, my hope and good vibes and blessings that I hope that this podcast, provided you is this, Bronwen mentioned it, this just spark of creativity that I hope, the podcasts give you that creativity that the three of us have when we came together and talk about this, but hopefully that spark, we can share that spark together, like nobody's, by lighting each other up, it doesn't dim anybody's light. And and then I think the other hope that I have for the Reiki Women Podcast listeners, no matter what gender you are, is that the podcast gives you a sense of confidence. Confidence in your knowledge of Reiki, confidence and an awareness of, on a deeper level, what is Reiki, and how you can feel inspired to use it, not just if you're a Reiki practitioner, but also just in your life, to have and live a more meaningful and fulfilled life. And those are some of the things that I hope, this podcast inspires, and the vibe that I'm hoping you're riding high on this time of year.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've shared how much of a gift this time has been for the three of us to come together and share this. And a significant, essential part of that is the gift that all of you have been to us in listening and sharing this podcast and engaging with us in the comments, in, following the Facebook group and continuing conversation in there. It's a profound gift to us that you are listening, and that what we're saying is of interest, is of value, is a point of connection, a point of inspiration for any of you. And we hope that continues to be so. And so what I wanted to share, when I think about the gifts of the system of Reiki, my mind immediately went to, just for today, I'm compassionate to myself. And this is, possibly the most profound gift that this practice immediately directs our attention to. There's, layers of gifts that can come deeper than that, after we really have worked with it. But where we first put our attention is on being compassionate with ourselves. And so I want to encourage and invite all of you to be your own gift, to, in the midst of this season when we are so focused on, giving and generosity, which is a beautiful thing to do, right? I want to really invite you to pause and ask yourself, how can I be my own gift in this moment? How can I be with myself in great compassion in this moment? Including any of the challenges that might be happening. Last week, we talked about navigating this season with a broken heart. And there's so many different experiences that we can have that make the holiday season particularly challenging. And so be your own gift. And that connects with the second thing that I wanted to share, in that, today, as we're recording this, we're 2 days from the winter solstice here in our hemisphere, the summer solstice in Bronwen's hemisphere. And, so here in Northern California, we're 2 days from the longest night of the year. And there's a lot of potency around that. Many, many traditions have an emphasis on that longest night, that dark time. And I love this time. I love these last few days where the nights are getting longer, and that invitation into, being in our own sweet darkness. And we can have a lot of different points of relationship to darkness, some of which are very challenging. I wanted to remind us that darkness is a restful and fertile place, that it's a place of possibility. It's a place of planting seeds. It's a place where our wildest dreams that are perhaps even too big for us even to look at in the light of day, they live down in the hara, in the center of our body, where our fertile darkness lies. And that our spark of light that lives there as well can only, be as brilliant as it is, but for the fertile darkness that surrounds it. And so, as we go into these last few steps of the fall, and we fully step into winter, again, in our hemisphere, I want to really remind us to honor and respect this time of rest, and to be our own gift in that, and to give ourselves the spaciousness that we need. And if you are with Bronwen on the other side of the world, honor and respect the energy of summer, right? The energy that's coming through the longest day, right? That moment where the sun is shining for the longest time, and all of the gifts that season brings to you. So that is what I have for you. Be your own gift. Honor and respect the energy of this season, and it will reward you. And thank you for being such a gift to us.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't planned anything to say, which is exactly what Michaela was talking about before. Yeah, that's beautiful what you were just saying about the solstice. And for me, with the summer solstice, yes, it is this longest day, and it really brings me to mind of lots of time to be creative, and it's fresh, and it's a time of producing. So it is almost the opposite of what you were saying of, that going into that rest. And yeah, so it's really a time of action, and that, the gift of light that is there for us to be able to do things late into the day, and you really feel like you've got to make the most of it all, like it's there, so enjoy it. And for me, that's very much our time, and that's how Christmas is for us, that we have really long, warm days, hopefully warm, and yeah, it's a really beautiful time for us to spend together with, friends and family. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that, and moving into the new year, and really bringing that freshness and light and creativity into everything that I'm doing, because I really feel like I have a bit of a new lease on life this year. So this year has been a letting go year. Next year is a building up year. So I will really love doing that together with you two women, and with the listeners as well, that we get to share. We actually were talking about that. We will actually share at the beginning of next year, the things that we're up to. And, I've been building a website and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to talk about that. So we'll talk about building businesses. How do you guys do that? How do we do that? What are some tips and hints and, those sorts of things. I think that will be really, for me, I'll really love sharing that with everyone, and hearing from you guys as well, what, how you work. So the new year has lots of wonderful things waiting for us, and I can't wait to be there with you all and enjoying that together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe in the new year, I'd also like a blooper reel of every time one of our cat's tails went past or they jumped up on us, right? So, dear listeners, if you'd like to donate to our hire an editor fund, so somebody who can cull through all of our footage and pull out all of the cat bloopers and all of the false start bloopers,
Every time my cat tries to chew the computer and it shakes backwards and forwards, and it's like I'm going through an earthquake. Yeah.
Cat-related bloopers. We want it. We're here for it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, and a wonderful holiday time ahead for everybody. We'll see you. We're going to take 2 weeks off. So we'll be seeing you after that, and with lots of lovely, fresh thoughts and ideas in the new year.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Happy holidays.